Hi everyone, I'm your English teacher from English Ninja Original. Today we're going to talk about these 5 verbs: say, tell, speak, talk and chat. So let's have a look at the first 2 verbs first and then move on to talk about the other 3 verbs and understand the differences between the verbs. So first have a look at the verb say and tell and see the differences between the 2 verbs. They are almost same in the meaning, but the way they are used in real life or the way they are used in our language could be a bit different. For example, if you want to talk about something somebody has spoken about, you can use say. She said that something would happen. She said that she would help us, for example. If I take tell instead of say, normally tell is used with a person as the object and then another object may come. If I put the same idea into a sentence with tell, that could come like this: she told me that she would help us. She told me that she would help us. But if you use the verb say, you do not say she said me. So with the verb say, you cannot put a person just after that, because it does not happen like that. It normally comes with tell. So if you consider tell is almost always used with the person you are talking to, just after the verb, as in she told me something, they told me something. On the other hand, if you want to use the verb say, you can say she said that she would help me, or she said something to me. So she said something to me, she said nothing to me. That's completely okay, but you cannot say she said me something. That doesn't go like that. It actually goes with tell me something, tell us something. So tell is almost always used with a person coming just after the verb. So that is a major difference between say and tell if you take the 2 verbs. And on the other hand, if you want to give information to somebody, or if you want to get information from somebody, you might ask that person, okay, tell us what happened. If I want to give some information to somebody else, I would say, okay, I'll tell you what happened. Tell you. So I'm trying to give some information after that. Or I'm going to tell something to somebody. Or somebody is coming just after the verb tell. Tell them, tell us, like that. So tell is almost always used like that, and say is not used with a person as the object just after the verb. If you want to put the object or the person you are talking to, you have to use saying something to somebody. It always goes after the object and with the preposition to somebody. So that is the major difference between say and tell. You can consider the noun form of say as well: saying, sayings, an English saying, a wise say or saying. But you cannot use the verb tell for that. You cannot say a telling, no, it's a saying. So there are English sayings, wise ideas expressed by people, wise people, English sayings like that. So you cannot use the verb tell for that, but just say. And actually the best way to learn the differences between say and tell is learning how they are used in our real life with particular expressions. We call them collocations. Sometimes you can, just as I told you, say something to somebody, say nothing to somebody, or tell somebody something, tell me something, tell us something. Likewise, you have to learn the collocations, the phrases that go with the 2 verbs, say and tell. That is the best way to learn about say and tell. And I hope you understood the basic difference between say and tell. Now we can move on to the verb speak and talk. So they are also basically the same in meaning, but speak could be a bit formal than talk. Talk could be a discussion, talk could be, most of the times, talk could be something casual, more casual than speak. If you consider 2 examples, look at these 2 examples. You speak to somebody about something. If you speak to somebody about something, normally you want to get something done. You have a goal in your mind. You want to get it done. You want to see that happen after you're speaking to that person. But if you talk to somebody, that could be just a casual, friendly talk. just to have a kind of a casual talk, like informal kind of talk, like gossip, maybe something like that. So that could be the meaning when you say I talked to him, I talked with him. But if you speak to somebody, that could be a bit formal, and it could be something you want to achieve or something to get done. That's why you speak to that person. On other occasions, both basically they are the same. You might say speak if you want the other person to talk. Otherwise, you can say just talk. Both are the same, but formality is the difference between the two verbs basically. And then if you take the verb chat, so talk is closer to chat than speak. Just like in the previous example, you may have a talk with somebody, or you may talk to somebody or talk with somebody, and you can chat with that person, or you can have a chat with that person. Same meanings, but chat is almost always, I would say, always casual or informal. If it is a chat, it cannot be something formal. But on the other hand, talk could be a bit formal when it is used in a context like if you have a talk on a topic, that could be something of a formal discussion. Here you can say talk could be formal if you talk under a topic or on a topic, but chat is never used that way. It is almost always informal. With the coming of the internet, it is used to just to exchange messages, maybe two people exchanging messages through the internet. You send a message and you get a message. That is a chat, normally maybe through a chat room. If I remind you of the differences between these, again we can consider tell and say first, or otherwise say and tell. Basically the same, but say comes without the person you are talking to just after the verb say. But if it is tell, it almost always comes with the person you are talking to just after the verb. If I give you another example, that could be tell me something, I wanted to tell them something, or otherwise it could be something like a piece of instruction, I wanted to tell them to do something, or he told me to do something, he told me to help them, he told me to advise them, he told me to go with them, and he said to do something also is used. You can say he said to meet him there, he said to do something. That's perfectly okay, but you can never say he said me to meet him at the particular place. He said me is not acceptable, but he told me is the way normally tell is used almost always. So that is the basic difference between tell and say. And on the other hand, if you want to give certain piece of information or get a certain piece of information, you might say tell me, or if you want to give, I will tell you, or tell you, then comes the information, piece of information. Okay, I wanted to tell them about something, or what had happened, or what happened. That is the way tell is normally used. Say is normally without the person you are talking to. But if you want to put the person you are talking to, you can say I said something to him, I said everything to him, I said nothing to him. That is perfectly okay, that is correct. But there you put what you say first and then the person you are talking to. I said something to him, but with tell, I told him something, I told him everything. So compare these two, the way they are used, and the best way to learn the differences between the two verbs is to learn the collocations. The phrases and words normally go with these two verbs. That is the best way for you to learn differences between all these verbs actually, not just say and tell. Okay, now if I remind you again the differences between speak, talk and chat, there is a difference in formality. Speak is the most formal one, and then comes talk. It could be sometimes formal, and then comes chat. Chat is, as I told you earlier, chat is always informal. If you have a chat, it could be just gossip, it could be just rumors, or we call it chit chat, or whatever the small talks maybe, that is having a chat. But if you compare the two verbs speak and talk, speak is, as I told you earlier, more formal than talk. If you speak to somebody about something, you want to achieve that thing. Or otherwise, if you speak to somebody without saying what you are trying to say, if you speak to somebody, that could be with an intention you have to achieve something. But if you say in your day-to-day life, I talked with him, I talked to him, it could be just a casual, friendly talk, just like having a chat. On the other hand, talk in certain cases or certain occasions used as a formal word to replace the word discussion. Better say discussion is the most I think it is the closest word that gives us the same, almost the same meaning. If you consider this example, they had a talk on education. If they had a talk on education, or the progress, or the developments in education, that could be a discussion on education. So it is more similar to a discussion, something formal, people gathering formally and having a talk on that, or having a discussion on that, or exchanging ideas about that. That is normally it is there, actually it is used as a noun. So talk has the same word, talk has the same word as a noun and as a verb. But if you consider speak, speak is the verb, it can never be a noun in the same form. If you make it into a noun, it is a speech. So you may make a speech or deliver a speech, that is, you are talking and other people are listening, and that is different from having a talk on something. If you are going to have a talk on something, there could be some other participants, and that has to be something formal. And if you make a speech, that is one person speaking normally. If you compare the two things, and speech is normally it is done in a formal way, there is a structure or format, and but if you have a talk on a topic, that could be something formal. But if you have a talk with a friend, that is completely different, right? You talk, and you may have certain, the two people may exchange ideas, or whatever they talk about, but it is casual there. So that is the basic difference. Again, what I have to say finally is that if you want to learn the differences between these 5 verbs, say, tell, speak, talk, and chat, the best way is to compare and contrast. And I have done it in this video, so you can watch it again if you would like, and then learn what the phrases actually are they normally go with in our day-to-day life, because these 5 verbs are very commonly used in our day-to-day language. So without learning these 5 verbs, you cannot speak English at all, because this is very commonly used in our day-to-day life. So that is very important. You have to practice, actually, not just to remember. It is more practical than academic, than something you have to remember and produce at an exam. No, that is not something like that. It is about almost completely about usage and using it. So try to use it as much as possible, and then after using it for some time, try to dig a bit deeper into it and then understand more about their usage. So that is the best way for you to learn well these 5 verbs and their differences and the situations or the context they are used in real speaking, in real English speaking, in our day-to-day language, or maybe at your workplace. So I hope you understood the basic differences between these 5 verbs again. If I remind you them, they are say, tell, speak, talk, and chat. So I'm going to finish the video here. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment, and click the notification bell. You will get a notification as soon as I upload a video on my channel. Don't forget to do that, and you will have a regular video on my channel, post almost every week, and I hope this video helped you to clear away some doubts you had about these 5 verbs, and I hope to meet you in the next video. Thank you for watching my video, and till then, it's goodbye from here.